Good morning, everyone. Well, as I've been saying, as we've been reading through Revelation, we've gotten through the worldwide punishments, if you will. You've seen the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls. So we've got a couple of chapters left that are going to deal with some cleanup. God's going to clean up the mess that's down here so that he can leave it for those in the millennium. This sun is bright. I might see if I can go stand underneath a tree. If it was behind the clouds, it'd be all right. Yeah, I've gone ahead and shaved because I've got to have this look for till the 24th, another week or so. So that way I'm ready to finish off the last episode. Okay, yeah, this is better. I can see myself. All right. Okay, so he's going to be cleaning up the world. He's not going to be fixing things that got broke because of all the disasters, but he's still got the harlot down here. He's still got the Antichrist down here. He's going to deal with them. Now the harlot, that's Babylon. Okay, now I got to get the lighting right so I look better. Everything I can do to help myself. There we go. The harlot, of course, is Babylon of the Old Testament. And we know the story of that they had their languages confused, so they were forced to separate. Here's where something sounds good. It is not necessarily the thing to do. God told the people of that time, who had been around long enough, apparently, to make the numbers of the earth increase. There weren't that many people on the ark, remember, so they had to increase those numbers. And then eventually he told them to spread out and cover the earth, because the earth was empty. We just got rid of everybody. Well, they didn't like that idea. They thought they had a better idea. We all have the same culture. We speak the same language. Let's just stay in one spot. And we can build a tower to heaven so we can talk to God better. Well, it may have sounded like a good idea, at least staying together, and it may have sounded like a good idea having the same culture. But good ideas don't make it if God told you to do something else. That's what you've got to keep in mind. What did God tell you to do? And then don't do your idea if it doesn't match. So anyhow, they're back because they didn't get killed. Guess God figured that flood was enough killing for one time. So in any case, God's going to have to eliminate them. He's going to use the Antichrist to get rid of the harlot because he doesn't want competition. I can't walk around because every time I do, I get into a bad spot. Okay, I'm just going to stand right here and finish talking. So, he's going to get the Antichrist to help get rid of the harlot, and then he's going to come in and get rid of the Antichrist and the false prophet. So when we get into the millennium, all he has to do is to hide Satan away in that bottomless pit we know about for the 1,000 years. So we're going to see about that here coming up. And why would he do that? So that when people get to the end, they don't go, we never had a chance. We had Satan, the adversary, against us our entire lives. How could we be held responsible for that? So he's going to put Satan away, and after 1,000 years, you'll see that the people turn against God so much that Armageddon is after the millennium, not before. Now we've got other wars. There's plenty of other wars and rumors of wars. We've got them. But the biggest battle ever, Armageddon, or Harmageddo, depending on how you want to say it, is afterwards. But that's not wrath of God stuff. That's just cleaning out taking the trash out. And eventually, he's going to do his final sort. Lambs and sheep. Let's get them all separate, or lambs and goats. Let's get them all separated. We cast those that don't make it into the lake of fire, including Satan, and the rest go to heaven. So there's your quick synopsis of what's left. Next video we're going to be reading chapters 17, 18, 19 is the millennium, 17, 18, 19. There was 20 of the millennium. I'll have to look. This is why I keep notes. I'm dealing with my senior disorder here, remembering things. In any case, we're going to get to that eventually. And then when we get to chapter 21, that's when all things are going to be nice. They're going to be made new again. New heaven, new earth. Everything that's down here now, things that you've been coveting, will be gone. So don't worry about them. Don't attach to these. Put your treasures in heaven where they're supposed to be. I can't see how long this time is on this. This is just going to be a quick short. Oh, this is way too short. All right, I might have to read some scriptures when I get back. I'm helping teach the book of Revelation at the church. We're getting into it here. I'm not the one in charge, but I'm coming along to help make sure everything's okay. The problem we have with Revelation is too many people have taught it wrong for so long. And then they've speculated because there's no one around that knows it well enough to call them for what they're doing. So what is it? What's the real story? Well, we've been covering it. But I won't speculate. If we don't know for sure something, then I won't give it to you that way. It doesn't matter if everybody else is teaching it that way. You know, I'm not going to assume, and you know that story. I'm giving it to you right out of the book. I made a comment to somebody. Someone says, you can't be telling me this. And I'm going, I read it right out of the Bible. That's exactly what it says. So I am telling you that because that's what the Bible says. We need to be able to test everything we say and do against what's in the Bible. And if we don't know for sure, don't speculate. Not knowing the day or the hour is for the second coming. The rapture, we don't know. We don't know when the rapture is. We can speculate. We know that it says we're not subject to wrath, and the second half of the 70th week is when the wrath of God happens. So we're not subject to that. So some people don't believe in the pre-trib, but they believe in pre-wrath. There's 3 raptures in the Bible. You got to see the first one. We're also the restraining force that's holding back evil. The Antichrist is evil. We're holding him back. He won't appear on the scene until we're gone. And the times are not going to be pleasant. That's why we're being raptured. We're being pulled away at the last second. The Antichrist has to come to earth to bring peace. If he can't solve the Middle East peace problem, and we switch back to the Middle East full time when we get into the 70th week, we've been in the church age now, we can look at the world, but when we get back to the 70th week, that's all about Israel, all about the Jews, the chosen people. So when he comes back, his job is to settle this peace problem. It won't need to be a 2-state solution, a 1-state. That's not going to be the problem. They're all going to be getting along because they're going to believe what he says. Now, he's going to be lying through his teeth through a lot of it, but nobody's going to recognize it because the Christians will be gone. We would recognize it, and we won't be here. So when he comes back and we're not here, he doesn't have anyone to call him out. That's not what it says in the Bible. Mr. Antichrist, whoever he is, who's alive right now and working with the harlot to transform this world into their idealistic dream, which would never work. Satan's idea of a good working plan is the full destruction of mankind. To get rid of God's creation. He doesn't like God. He doesn't like us for the same reason. So he'll come up with a plan that may sound good. But the results of the plan are that we die. That's why a quarter of the population of the world dies during the seals. And a third die during the trumpets. If you do the math on that, a quarter and a third, add them together in like numbers, that's 7/12. Yeah, I know, fractions. You don't remember that from school, but that's what that is. 7/12. That is greater than 6/12. 6/12 would be 1/2, if you could reduce it down. 7/12 means that there's more than 50% of the population of the world will be killed. Take away the Christians, which are a great number as well. I've got a busy street here. And there's going to be a lot less people down here. Then you're going to have all this stuff with wars going on. What will the final population be that goes into the millennium? It's called a remnant. A remnant is not a very big piece. So that's what's coming. You want to be out of here on the pre-trib rapture. You don't want to be around for the mid-trib rapture, for the 2 witnesses and the 144,000. And you don't want to be around at the end. Some people believe there's only one rapture, and that's at the end. I'd say to God, why bother? If you've lived through the tribulation, why bother rapturing us? Just come down here and take over. Okay? 3 raptures. And one of them is for us, the church, the first one. The other ones will also collect parts of the church, but the biggest bulk of us will go up on the pre-trib. We've got to leave the world to Satan so he can try to destroy it, try to destroy God's people. He's not a nice guy. And the thing is we've been reading and talking about this in spite of all the things that happen. The majority of the world still continue to blaspheme God, call him names, tell them they don't want to be a part of it. I saw a couple of people online that they were interviewing saying, I don't want to go wherever your God is. I want to go any place he's not. They were being interviewed. They're saying they want to go to hell if that's where God's not going to be. Now, they don't know the truth. They believe Satan's lies. It's going to be party time. Not in the lake of fire. They may go to hell initially, but not even that's permanent. The lake of fire is the ultimate eternity. So we warn people. We don't need to know step by step what's going to happen during the millennium or during the tribulation, as the world calls it. The 70th week. We don't need to know a timeline. I'm fine with just looking at the vignettes of seeing how they work and knowing that they overlap. I don't need to know. If you knew what was going to happen, if you knew that the 6th seal was tomorrow, what would you do different? If you're already a Christian, what would you do different? Try to warn people? We should be doing that anyway. Whenever the date is. We're told to be watchmen. So we need to be watching. But we're watching so we can tell people, so we can warn people. Be prepared. We may have to get out of here quickly. We may have to leave this house that we've lived in all our life and go to a cave someplace or a place of refuge. Everybody should have some place in mind that they can go to, where they can get away from the world, not God. Can't get away from God, just ask Jonah. But the world's going to turn evil more so than it is. I heard that they've arrested in, I don't know the date of this interview, I just saw the interview. During the same year, 440 people in Russia were arrested for social media posts, whatever they are. That same year in the UK, 3,300 were arrested. Not Russia, but in the UK. The social media police are out there. They can't do it here right now, but they haven't totally destroyed the United States. That's in process. Okay, be safe, everybody, till we meet in the clouds. God bless. There's our parents and the little ones. The biggest group is 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like. I think there were more when they started. One guy says that sometimes the snapping turtles will get them. That's nature. Beautiful clear sky now.